How you doing, everyone? Sandesh here, and welcome to another episode of trying to make sense of the world. I was hoping to do this on Friday and Saturday, but unfortunately, I just wasn't able to do it. But it's time to get on with it. And thanks for watching, all of you. Anyway, let's get on with it. I'm going to cover the news first, and the first one I'm covering is on Fox News. The first two, excuse me. The first one is about the Illinois teacher. You probably know about this. The Chicago, Illinois teacher. Her name was Christina for Formella, and she's accused of having a sexual encounter with a student 2 years ago, 2023. Um, Newly released body cam footage shows the shock and emotional unraveling of an Illinois school teacher who was arrested for allegedly molesting a 15-year-old student last month. The video shows Christina Formella, 30 years old, being pulled over during a traffic stop last week and being taken into custody where she's been charged with various sex crimes for having an inappropriate sexual relationship with a student in 2023. Formella is accused of sexually assaulting the boy in a classroom for a tutoring session before class began at Downers Grove South High School in December 2023. The victim's mother discovered the alleged assault when looking through her son's text message thread on his cell phone and then contacted the police, prosecutors said. In the body cam footage, Formella seems confused when police ask her to exit her vehicle. They then arrest her and place her in the back of a police vehicle where she asks questions about her detention. Formella can be heard sobbing in the back seat of a police vehicle, asking for her husband, her childhood sweetheart, whom she married last year, per reports. I feel like I'm going to throw up, she said in the March 16 video, and continues to cry in the back seat. Formella, who was also a soccer coach, began tutoring the alleged victim after he broke his collarbone, and they began messaging each other on a school platform, according to court documents obtained by TMZ. The pair then allegedly exchanged provocative text followed by FaceTime chats, which led to December 2023 sexual incident. I love you so much, Mama, the boy allegedly sent Formella in one text. I love you so much, baby. Even though this morning was short, it was perfect. The teacher then, 28, allegedly responded. They both later acknowledged to each other that what they did was wrong and they never had sex again per the documents. They spoke for the last time in February 2024. Formella denied having sex with the minor and claimed the student had broken into her phone and used their number to send himself inappropriate text messages to blackmail her, according to the New York Post. She reportedly told investigators that everybody comes after her because she's good looking and she's just a good person who cared too much about the boy, according to court documents obtained by WGH. And DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin said the allegations against Formella are extremely disturbing. It is alleged that she used her position of trust and authority as a tutor and a coach to sexually assault a minor student. The type of abuse and behaviour alleged in this case will not be tolerated, Berlin said. The safety and well-being of our children remains our highest priority, and we will take all necessary actions to ensure that anyone engaging in this type of conduct is held accountable. Formella has been charged with one count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, one count of criminal sexual assault, and one count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. She has been released from custody on the condition she does not enter Downers Grove South High School and does not make contact with anyone under the age of 18. She is scheduled to appear in court on April the 14th. The state's attorney office said the defendant is presumed innocent and is entitled to a fair trial in which it is the government's burden to prove his or her guilt beyond reasonable doubt. At her appearance, the court denied the state's motion to detained for Miller pre-trial and released with conditions including no entry into Downers Gross South Street High School and no contact with anyone under the age of 18. Okay, look, I'm gonna say this right. She says that the kid broke in broke into her phone and basically used that as a and tried to blackmail her. The thing is, right, the fact that she's a teacher and she has to say that, and now bear in mind, the mom looked through her son's text thread and text messages on his phone. She saw all this and then she contacted the police, and you can't blame the mom for doing that because that's a parent's responsibility if there's child engagement at school, right? So the thing is, if anything, this makes the teacher look 10 times worse for saying that all the kid was taking advantage of me. If anything, I lose it's like you're a teacher. You first of all, you're a teacher. You're with your childhood sweetheart that you say. What the hell are you doing in having a sexual relationship with a student who I think was 15. Yeah, a 15-year-old student. I mean, if I was her husband, I would be. If I was a husband, I'm shouting at her and I'm ending the relationship and I'm getting a divorce because that is seriously disturbing and seriously messed up. It's like she honestly has serious issues which ain't been resolved, and I don't have any sympathy for anyone, especially who's supposed to be a teacher and they do that to a student. I mean, like like imagine if that was your kid and then you realize that's what was happening. What the hell would you do? You know what I mean? So I don't have any sympathy for her whatsoever. Um, anyway, let me know what you think about this article. I'm gonna get into the next one on Fox News. Um, okay, hang on. I'm just waiting for it to close. Sorry about this. Um, okay. Now the next one um, is about um, Biden Department of Justice behind the times in pursuing alleged Hunter corruption. This is about Hunter Biden. All right. I'm gonna get into it now. Um, Last August, the New York Times ran a story about Hunter Biden seeking help from the government for his client and the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. If you follow the Hunter Biden laptop story, then you obviously know about this. Okay. Um. Anyway. A recent follow-up story had damaging new details. Hunter Biden sought assistance from the U.S. government for a potential lucrative energy company in Italy, while his father was vice president, according to newly released records and interviews. The records which the Biden administration had withheld for years indicate that the Hunter Biden wrote at least one letter to the U.S. Ambassador to Italy in 2016 seeking assistance for the Ukrainian gas company Burisma, for which he was a board member. Um, the um, the State Department did not release the actual text of the letter, and there was also an article. Um, Let me see if I can find it. Sorry about this. I'm just on the Fox. I'm just on Fox News. I'm just looking on finding out now. Um, no, that's not it. This is the one. This is the story I was looking for. Sorry about that. Okay. Um, okay. This is the State Department did not release the actual text of the letter. Sorry, and that is precisely what many of us have been writing about in asking why Hunter Biden was not charged with being an unregistered foreign agent as Paul Manafort and Bob Menendez and others were under similar circumstances. So the thing is, the accusation from the New York Post suggests that that Hunter Biden was acting as a foreign agent. Um, Anyway, I'm going to get into more of it. The Foreign Agents Registration Act covers anyone acting as an agent of a foreign principal, including but not limited to 1. Attempting to influence federal officials or the public on domestic or foreign policy or the political or public interest in favor of foreign country. Number 2. Collecting or dispersing money and or other things of value within the United States. Or number 3, representing the interests of the foreign principal before US government officials or agents. It is sweeping, so is the definition of what a foreign principal encompasses, including a foreign government, a foreign political party, any person outside the United States except US citizens who domiciled within the United States, and any entity organized under the laws of a foreign country or having its principal place of business in a foreign country. Now, this is it. As I previously wrote, Special Counsel Robert Mueller seemed to charge by the gross under the Act. He hit a line of Trump associates with such allegations from Manafort, now Michael Flynn to George Papadopoulos to Rick Gates. The Justice Department used FARA to conduct searches on the homes and files of former Trump counsel Rudy Giuliani, Republican attorney Victoria uh, Tollsing, and others. However, the Justice Department and Special Counsel David Weiss seems to tie themselves into knots to avoid tripping the wire on FARA, even as it discussed Hunter Biden's work for foreign clients. The government also resists requests from the Times and other media. Um, the request was initially filed under the Freedom of Information Act in June 2021. After nearly 8 months, the State Department had not released any records, and the Times sued. About 18 months later, the department moved to close the case after releasing thousands of pages of records, none of which shed light on Hunter Biden's outreach to the government. And the Times challenged the thoroughness of the search, noting that the department had failed to produce responsive records containing a cache of files connected to a laptop that Mr. Biden had abandoned at a Delaware repair shop. The department resumed the search and periodic productions, but had produced few documents related to Mr. Biden until the week after his father ended his re-election campaign and endorsed Vice President Harris for the Democratic nomination. Now we have a copy of a key letter from Hunter Biden that gives us an insight into the evidence buried for years. The State Department last week released a letter he wrote while his father was serving as vice president, in which he sought assistance from the US government for the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. Um, in the previously unpublished June 16th letter on Burisma letterhead to the US ambassador to Italy, Mr. Biden requested support and guidance in arranging a meeting with an Italian official to resolve regulatory hurdles to geothermal energy projects Burisma was pursuing in the Tuscany region. The letter requested help in arranging a meeting between Burisma officials, Enrico Rossi, the president of the Tuscany regional government at the time, to introduce geothermal projects led by Burisma Group, to highlight their social and economic benefits for local communities and develop a common action plan that would lead to further development of the Tuscany region. How could any Justice Department official, let alone a special counsel, read that letter and not see the glaring disconnect between the handling of the case involving Joe Biden's son and others like Manafort? The letter references a trip on which Hunter Biden, as was his pattern, used official travel um, with his father to make these business connections. The letter mentions meeting a key ambassador on Air Force Two as he seeks assistance for his client. The ambassador then sent a follow-up letter saying he knew the president of Tuscany and identified a Commerce Department official working at the U.S. Embassy who could help see where our interests might overlap. It was another example of alleged influence peddling through his father and working for a foreign client in lobbying the government. During this period, the Justice Department seemed to be on hair trigger for foreign charges. Yet, when it came to Hunter Biden, the entire department seemed composed of legal Sergeant uh, Schultz's. Many in the media attacked those of us who have been writing about this corruption stretching back to the Obama administration. Many simply insisted that there was no evidence, while taking no steps to find out. While the media was unrelenting in investigating Trump allegations of Russian collusion and business improprieties, it took a largely passive stance in pursuing the story. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. All part of the plan. Even the New York Times, which can be credited with pursuing this Freedom of Information Act information, did comparatively little with the ample evidence of corruption by the Bidens in securing millions through influence and peddling. What remains is a corruption scandal involving not only what the Bidens did, but also what the Justice Department did not do over this extended period. It appears to heed the advice of not of whistleblowers but politicians like Senator Claire McCaskill that everybody needs to back up the influence peddling story. Of course, Joe Biden ultimately broke his repeated promise not to pardon his son. What was most notable, however, was that not only did he pardon him for any crimes from human trafficking to tax evasion, but also for a period running from January the 1st, 2014 to December the 1st, 2024. This letter explains why such a sweeping extended pardon was needed, yet in the end the greatest indictment from this scandal was of the Justice Department itself. Yeah, um, yeah, so the this is what I'm saying. The Biden family in general is just nothing but they're pretty much a crime family when you really dig deep into everything that they were involved in, because that's what they are, and they're nothing but a crime. They're nothing but a crime family, human trafficking, you name it. The most likely got their the most likely got their tentacles involved, and that's all of them, and that's a whole Biden family. Um, and the thing is, Biden was just handing out pardons. And just like he said, why did Hunter Biden had to have that long stretch of a pardon for what? Especially in 2014, there was no reason until when you dig deep on what the hell was going on. And let me know what you think about the Hunter Biden issue in the comments. Um, I'm gonna go over some wrestling news now. Okay, if you watched WWE LFG, and then you know about the thing about what Mickey James said to Zena Sterling, I think it was, and it was about her ring attire, and basically and she was basically saying that it felt so really hypocritical, and it was like what the fuck is Mickey James talking about, because when she was lambasting uh, Zena over what she was wearing, it honestly, she really did not look bad, and she was trying to say that, oh, we was fighting back against, like, looking sexually and provocative. I personally disagree. I don't think so. I don't think she did. I mean, first of all, look at the way she debuted, and also, by the way, look at the wrestler. If you look throughout history, whenever it's sports or whenever it's wrestling itself, right? Name one time whenever it's a women wrestlers or even the men wrestlers, and you could say the same thing with women athletes and men athletes, right? When sex was not used to promote them. Of course, sex was used to promote them, because it's all about getting them over with the public. Um, anyway, apparently, and obviously, the wrestling community is basically calling her out for her hypocritical thoughts. Now, I understand that it's now the thing is, if I've heard that it was scripted, but even if it's scripted, it's like whose idea was to put that in a script and have Mickey James said that? Because if anything, it seriously sounds stupid because she did the exact same thing, and Mickey James says that she fought really hard to so that women wrestlers wanted to do that. If anything, I call bullshit on that because the one woman's wrestler that who fought the hardest, the most for women to be taken seriously as women wrestlers, I would say would be Mae Young, honestly, because the shit she had to deal with in her day. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I would say that Mickey James would have a conniption fit, honestly. Um, anyway, indie wrestler Maya World is one of the many, among many who are taking a job at James. Um, anyway, I think. Oh, here we go. She says here um, Twitter, ass cheeks out. Sorry, Mickey. And knee sleeves sliding down, hair blowing in the wind, getting kicked in the head like it was that serious. That's insane because because when it was originally aired, she said Mickey James said, "I lived during the Diva era, and we fought very very hard not to have to wrestle in lingerie anymore." I completely disagree with that. Um, since because I'm a female, I can speak on this. It's very frustrating when women go out there and wrestle, and all I see is their ass. You want to be taken seriously as a wrestler, but you're pretty much wrestling in jazzed up lingerie. I'll tell you, no, I'm telling you, what she said made no sense at all. Even if you're a fan of Mickey James, even you gotta admit that really came out seriously stupid. It clearly did not make any sense for her to say any of that whatsoever. It just didn't make any sense at all, and she really did come across as very hypocritical. Um, and then and obviously and we know about Mickey James having is going to be leaving LFG, and obviously and I'm one of the people that's saying that look, that was a network decision. It had nothing to do with Undertaker or Mickey James, because Undertaker and and Michelle McCool, excuse me, them two don't ain't got the pull on that show to get rid of Mickey James, even if they wanted to. That was a network choice. That was what the network wanted. But the thing is, having her say that, I mean, she really did not do herself any favors. If anything, they're gonna keep on giving Mickey James shit just for saying that, and as well. And to be honest, I think it's justified on the fact that they keep on giving her shit, because that was a really seriously dumb thing to say. And let me know what you think in the comments about what Mickey James said on what Mickey James said on the March 20th episode of on LFG. Anyway, I'm gonna go on to the next piece of wrestling news. Um, hang on a minute, I'm just gonna have water. Okay. Okay. Now, if you watched Ariel Helwani and he had Bret Hart on, and then you know that Bret Hart said that a lot of wrestlers um, in WWE, but mostly in AEW, he doesn't regard them as real wrestlers. He regards them as actors pretending to be wrestlers. But he said especially in AEW you see that a lot, and it's very hard to disagree with what he said, especially in AEW, man, because AEW is seriously not doing themselves any favors. Anyway, Bully responded on about what Bret Hart said on Busted Open, and he said, "I think it's an interesting conversation because I don't necessarily agree with Brett across the board about his comments about AEW wrestlers, but I understand his perspective because it's definitely a different generation, a different time. I don't think it's just a generation issue. I don't think it's about that because he even said that he really likes Roman Reigns because he gave a lot of praise to Roman Reigns. To be honest, I would say Gunther is also a harken back to old school wrestlers as well. When you seriously think about it, I would say Drew McIntyre as well, but Gunther I would honestly say so. Um, Anyway, so when Bret Hart says that when he looks at AEW wrestlers and he sees actors playing wrestlers, I understand where he's coming from because in Bret's day, everybody was a pro wrestler. You looked the part, you acted the part, you spoke the part, you were a pro wrestler 24/7. Hart explained that he misses the ruggedness that characters used to have in the industry and believes that the 1990s still remain the best era of wrestling because of it. He also wanted to give credit to former undisputed WWE champion Roman Reigns, who he feels has worked hard to earn the respect of the older generation of wrestlers. Um, yeah, because the thing is, I would say that the reason why Bret Hart says that is because they just in AEW they just keep doing spot after spot after spot after spot after spot non-stop, and also in AEW, it's not so much about the wrestling. It's now more so about the shock factor now when you really think about it, and they don't really necessarily think, hang on a minute, this just looks stupid. What the hell are we doing? Um, and as far as like the ruggedness about the wrestlers now having to look like wrestlers, he's 100% true on that part because even RVD was saying on Chris Van Vliet that in his day that the thing is, if you went to a wrestling school and you said to them that you're interested in becoming a wrestler, they would say to you, "Yo, go and hit." They'll say, "Yo, go and hit the gym first, man. Put some muscle on, put some muscle on." You know what I mean? And even Chris Van Vliet was saying that you would expect that going to the gym would be step one of becoming a wrestler, which is 100% true. So yeah, I kind of do miss that, but I like the fact that WWE is not making a discernible effort of like bringing back that old school look of how wrestlers are supposed to look, because you see that with Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, you know what I mean? You do see it there. And anyway, let me know in the comments of what you thought about what Bret Hart said about modern wrestlers coming across as actors. Let me know in the comments. Okay, I'm going to get into some movie news now. Now, the first one is about Laurence Fishburne. Um, he apparently he was saying that that as far as like Matrix Resurrections, that he basically offered his services to Warner Brothers, to the makers of the of the sequel Matrix Resurrections. But the thing is, apparently, the studio didn't respond well when he expressed interest. I don't know why they don't. I don't know why they reacted that way. And if anything, I think it would have really helped if Lawrence Fishburne returned as Morpheus as well, because Morpheus didn't die whatsoever. Um, the odds are stacked. The odds are stacked against Fishburne returning in the Matrix 5. I'm reading this from CBR.com. Um, it depends on the circumstances, who was involved, how well the script has been written, and if that offered me a part, he told The View. Fishburne set a clear-cut expectations, hinting he's still open to the prospect. To be honest, now watching Matrix Resurrections, I honestly think it really helped him a lot to not be part of it, because Hugo Hugo Weaving didn't want any part of it, and it didn't hurt him whatsoever. So I think it did the same thing for Lawrence Fishburne as well. It didn't hurt him at all. I offered my services to the fourth Matrix. They didn't respond well, he asserted. It's not like I didn't say I'd like to offer my services. I did. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. But that's the truth. We'll see. Um, yeah, The Matrix Resurrections brought back Keanu Reeves as Neo, Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity, alongside Jada Pinkett Smith, Niobe, Lambert Wilson, uh, the Merev, the Merovinge, I think that's what it says. Fishburne said he said he was not reprising Morpheus ahead of the film's release. He appeared archive footage. I had not been invited. Maybe that will make me write another play. I wish them well. I hope it's great, he said in 2020 per the rap. Um, anyway, yeah, there's my opinion on it. That the thing is, it was a good thing that Laurence Fishburne was not part of it whatsoever. Because it didn't hurt him whatsoever at all. Even though it would have actually made sense for Morpheus's I mean Lawrence Fishburne's Morpheus to still be in the film, because like I said, he did not die. Anyway, let me know in the comments on what you think. Um, the next one is apparently there's gonna be a, a Sylvester Stallone biopic about the making of Rocky 1, I'm assuming, moving forward at Amazon MGM Studios. The story of how Rocky came to be could be just as interesting as the film itself. This is the thinking that's in mind for the upcoming biopic about Sylvester Stallone that focuses on the actor and filmmaker getting his legendary boxing movie off the ground. Previously, it was reported that Peter Farrelly Green Book was set to direct I'd Play Rocky, a feature film focusing on the 1976 movie's creation. It's now been revealed that the movie is officially moving forward at Amazon MGM Studios, as this was verified at CinemaCon. Even well, though it's still not known who will play Stallone, Ferretti is also serving as a producer in addition to directing, while Peter Gamble wrote the screenplay. As of now, there's no word yet on whenever Stallone himself will be involved with the movie in any capacity. Stallone wrote the screenplay for the original film in which he also starred, a movie that launched one of the most popular film franchises of all time. Famously, Stallone struggled greatly to get the script for the first Rocky a green light. He eventually found one, though the film was also tasked with being made on a minuscule budget with a quick turnaround time expected. It's also known that Stallone was intended on playing the Rocky character himself, refusing to let the movie be made unless he was also the star. Um, the Rocky franchise is still going strong, although there's still been a pivot to focus on a new central character, Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan has been playing Adonis Creed, the son of Carl Weathers' Apollo Creed. We saw him take on the role in three different movies. Jordan recently confirmed that a fourth film is in the planning stages, though it's not yet clear when the film will end up being made. Stallone appeared as Rocky in the first two Creed movies, but did not appear in Creed 3, nor is he expected to be part of Creed 4. After his work on the second film, Stallone hinted that his run portraying Rocky Balboa on screen was over. This is probably my last rodeo, because what I thought happened and has happened, I never expected, Stallone said in 2018 upon wrapping Creed 2. I thought Rocky was done in 2006, and I was very happy with that. Then all of a sudden, this young man, Michael B. Jordan, presented himself, and the whole story changed. It went on to a new generation, new problems, new adventures, and I couldn't be happier as I stepped back because my story had been told. There's a whole new world that's going to be opening up with the audience with this generation. Now you have to carry the mantle. Um, you know what? I have a question. Who the hell are they gonna get to play Stallone in the biopic? Because Stallone had a certain look even in 1976, and he even had a certain, and Stallone's got a certain voice in 1976. Even when you watch the first Rocky film, he's got a certain voice. and whichever actor you get, you got to be able to replicate. You got to be able to replicate that, and I imagine that's got to be pretty hard to do. But this idea about the making of Rocky One, about how much he struggled, I personally, I wouldn't. Honestly, I would actually kind of watch this. I would actually like to see how they do it on the how they do it. I'm actually interested in this. This is actually probably the one biopic I would actually like to watch. Let me know in the comments. Would you like to see a biopic of Stallone about the making of Rocky Run, and how much he struggled? Hang on. If you do, let me know in the comments if you do. If you're interested. Um, okay. Finally, I'm gonna go over gaming news. The first one is on Nintendo Life. And if you know about the Switch 2, if you watch the Switch 2 direct, I did a video about it, covering it, and my thoughts about it. Um, Please watch that video if you don't mind. Oh, by the way, if you could like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and I would appreciate it. Thank you. Um, anyway, the controversy, obviously, and it is justified, that the games are going to be $80 or £80 if you live in the UK, which I think is just absolutely stupid. There is no reason for it, because it's already stupid enough of the fact that PS5 games are £70. Well, $70. There is no reason. There is no reason for a Nintendo game to be that much. But then apparently, your video games, Matt from your video games was talking about the fact that the guy who runs Nintendo is pretty much an accountant, and basically it's all about trying to get a squeeze on the people, squeezing them but much money. But since he's an accountant, he should understand that the thing is that about the tariffs issues, right? So he should have been like, hang on a minute, we need to make the games as affordable as we can, because the thing is that, I mean, they're gonna make their money on the Switch too, but I mean, people, I'll tell you some, I'll tell you something now, because it, it, it it just didn't make any sense for the games to be $80, honestly. Anyway, sorry for getting sidetracked, but anyway, apparently select EU retailers are abandoning Nintendo's suggested retail price for Switch 2 games. The big talking point that has arisen out of the Switch 2 Direct is Nintendo's approach to game pricing. Mario Kart World comes with a suggested retail price of $80, while the likes of Donkey Kong Bonanza is a little cheaper at a suggested $70. Both cheaper when both digitally, we might add. Hearing a figure that high has been a tough pill to swallow, and yet we mustn't forget that this is only a suggested price. Retailers are free to list titles at whatever lump sum they please, and for some European storefronts, Nintendo's starting figure is clearly too high, as brought to our attention by the wonderful John Cartwright at Blue Sky. Some EU listings for upcoming Switch 2 titles are already appearing as low as 60 euros, and $20. I mean, a €20 drop on Nintendo's suggestion. French retailer CD Discount has copies of Donkey Kong Bonanza up for pre-order for €59.90, and regional Amazon listings for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 edition can be found at the same price. And I'll include the. Oh, by the way, on this episode, I'll include the links of all the articles I read as well. So the thing is, what I'm reading, you can see for yourself. While UK retailers haven't started listing Switch 2 software pre-orders at the time of writing, we've heard that storefronts in Spain and Italy are sticking to Nintendo's suggested prices as a first wave of pre-orders start to trickle out. In short, it seems that only very selected stores are going against the grain on Switch 2 pricing for now, but there's every chance that others will follow. You know what? I tell you this now: if more stores end up dropping the price on Switch 2 games, I tell you this now, what's going to end up happening is more people are just going to end up looking for places that are going to have Switch 2 games at a lesser price, even if it's just a even if it's a $20 or €20 drop. They'll still rather take that because at least it's $10 or €10 less than a PS5 game as well. During yesterday's Trios presentation, the live chat was flooded with comments on drop the price as Nintendo started to showcase gameplay footage um, from its first party offerings. The SRP has clearly caught most people off guard, but these first listings might suggest that not all hope is lost just yet. Yeah, I honestly think that it was honestly, sorry about that. It was honestly bullshit though, the fact that Nintendo felt the need to have to do that. Now they're not gonna do sales on their games because Nintendo never ever do that. Anyway, um, what is your opinion of the Switch to games pricing whenever it's digital or physical? Um, um, don't you mind if they're $80 or €80? Are you bothered about it, or are you a digital gamer? Let me know in the comments of what you think. Um, the final story on this episode is about Shuhei Yoshida and his take on the Switch 2 Direct. All right. I'm reading this from pushsquare.com. You may have missed this, but Shuhei Yoshida, the beloved ex-PlayStation executive of over 30 years, reacted live to Nintendo's big Switch 2 Direct. He joined the crew over at MinMax to watch the presentation live and provided some commentary, mostly after the show concluded. Host Ben Hansen asked him for his thoughts on the Direct, and he wasn't afraid to speak his mind. It was underwhelming until the From Software game showed up, Yoshida said. What rating would you give the show out of 10? I'd say 6 until the From Software game came up. And then he said, I'll give it a 7. He added that he wanted to see more game announcements. I was a bit disappointed that the Direct was broadly focused on remakes or ports. Yoshida was a big fan of Switch 2's camera accessory. I disagree. That camera accessory, the resolution on it was absolute shit. It was dog shit, honestly. Because when you saw it and when he showed the game chat earlier on, and even I was like, what the hell's that? For $80, I tell you this now, you could get a webcam for $80, right? And and I guarantee it would have better resolution than that. That was shit. And subsequent gameplay gimmicks, as well as being able to see other people's gameplay, even if it's a different game. He also said the tutorial, like Welcome Tour game, looks really nice, but hopes it will be cheap price wise. It looks as though that will be the case, fortunately. As for the console's price point, he says the US price is higher than I had anticipated, but everything's price is higher now. Upon discovering the price in Japan, however, he was shocked at how low it is. Wow, 50,000 yen. That's unbelievably cheap considering it's about 150 yen per US dollar. Everybody should go to Japan and buy it. So not full marks from Yoshida, but he seems excited about From Software's newly announced the Dust Bloods and Switch 2's social features. As someone who was at PlayStation for more than 3 decades, it's fascinating to hear his thoughts on a rival company's presentation, even if he's not at the company anymore. Well, the thing is, since he's not at the company anymore, he's not really a Nintendo rival, is he? How can he be? And as far as I'm concerned about the Switch 2 Direct, I didn't think it was underwhelming at all, because he said that it was nothing but remakes or ports, and I disagree because first of all, Mario Kart World is not a port or remake. The brand new um the Koei Tecmo game, um the brand new Hyrule Warriors game. Not a that's not a remake or a port whatsoever, and also the Donkey Kong game, not a remake or a port whatsoever. Kirby's Air Riders, the new one, not a remake or a port whatsoever. So I kind of don't understand. I kind of don't understand what he means by it was just nothing but remakes or ports. I honestly don't understand what he means by that. And by the way, as far as the port, Borderlands 4, as much as I don't like Borderlands 4 is going to come out the same year on the Switch 2 as it does as the PS5, the Xbox, and the PC. So it the games it's going to get are not exactly out of date when you really think about it. The only one that it showed that was sort of out of date, I would say, even though it's an incredible game, was Yakuza Zero, and I would say that was pretty much the only one. Maybe Elden Ring, but Elden Ring isn't too old. But yeah, um, as far as the rating for the Switch 2 Direct, we also need to understand. We also need to understand Nintendo were clearly holding back as far as game announcements. I don't think this is even all of them as far as like game announcements or what they're going to announce. I expect to be another Nintendo Direct for Switch 2, and I expect it to be after the release of Switch 2. I reckon probably September, probably around then, because then that way the Switch 2 was been out for a few months, and then I can offer some more announcements as well. Um, so I would have given the Switch 2 Direct an eight or an 8.5 out of 10. Honestly, including the From Software game, even though I wouldn't personally wouldn't play it because since it's a multiplayer game. But let me know in the comments on what you thought about the Switch 2 Direct, and did you find it underwhelming? I personally didn't. Anyway, that's this week's episode. Thanks for watching, and please like, comment, subscribe, and on all my links are on my YouTube bio if you want to follow me. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.